The story begins by showing back in 1980 when an awesome dolphin called Dolph and two cool seals named Claggart and Switch. They were like superheroes of the sea, trained to deal with dangerous sea mines. Switch thought they needed some human help, but Claggart was all like, "Nah, I got this, bro." So he chopped off one cable and boom. The mine was safely taken on board. They were greeted by their boss, the top dog of the good boy squad. But then, kaboom! The mine exploded and messed up the ship. Claggart had to let Dolph take a dive into the sea, while he and Switch got all shaken up because the ship hit a reef. Claggart's necklace got chucked into the sea. Fast forward 43 years and we're in the sea with two new seals, Quinn and Benji. They were buddies working together to catch some fish. But those sneaky fish swam away into the coral, and Quinn and Benji got scared that sharks might be lurking there. Suddenly, Geraldo, another seal, escaped from the aquarium. He was all like, "I can take on sharks, no problemo," and headed back home. Benji invited Quinn to go home too, but Quinn wanted to explore beyond the reef because he found a shiny necklace. Little did they know, two sharks were following them closely. They made a quick escape, swimming like there was no tomorrow. Luckily, they made it back safely to Seal Island. Quinn, who had the necklace, gave a piece to Benji, only to find out it belonged to Claggart. Then they had a not-so-tasty dinner, but their friend Beth tricked them into thinking rocks were delicious. Thankfully, the wise old seal announced that a massive sardine migration was about to happen, so no need to worry about food. But poor Benji couldn't sleep because of his grumbling tummy, and Quinn couldn't bear to see him hungry. So Quinn decided to venture into the sea, and soon enough, Benji caught up. Quinn explained that maybe there could be food in the old shipwreck, and he wanted to check it out. Of course, Benji had his buddies back and said, "I'm with you, pal." As they walked along the road, they stumbled upon a huge pile of trash. But they kept going until they reached the shipwreck spot. And guess what? Sharks were lurking nearby, but Quinn and Benji didn't let that stop them from searching for any leftover food. Suddenly, a shark named Grimes appeared, accompanied by his sidekick, a sneaky remora fish. Quinn and Benji had a brilliant plan using their necklaces to dazzle Grimes. They teamed up with some epic combo moves. But here's the twist, only Quinn managed to escape from Grimes. He desperately tried to send a signal to Benji through the reflection of light on his necklace, hoping for help. But oopsie, Grimes mistook the signal for himself. Quinn realized his buddy was gone, and he got super angry. He fought with all his might, but hey, Quinn could only dodge Grimes' attacks. In the end, he got so hungry that he decided to just grab a bite to eat. Out of nowhere, Claggart appears and starts battling Grimes. It's an epic showdown. Claggart manages to defeat Grimes and then carries the unconscious Quinn to a small island. Before long, Quinn wakes up only to find himself surrounded by three extraordinary birds. These feathered fellas are part of the Animal Air Force, and it's mind-blowing to see Quinn in their midst. Quinn explains that Claggart brought him here and expresses his desire to meet him. So the three birds act as Quinn's escorts and take him to Claggart's hideout, which happens to be on a sunken ship. There, Quinn wants Claggart to teach him how to fight like a pro, but Claggart is reluctant. Nevertheless, Quinn insists on serving Claggart and challenges him to a fin fight. Things get wild, and Quinn ends up in a pile of sardine cans. That's when he threatens Claggart that he'll eat everything if he doesn't teach him. Reluctantly, Claggart agrees to teach Quinn, but lays down some criteria. He says that Quinn must first assemble a team of brave, silly, and downright crazy individuals to carry out missions. So Quinn returns to Seal Island and gathers his fellow seals. He tells them that Benji met his unfortunate fate at the hands of a shark. The oldest seals suggest they forget about it and feast on barnacles. Well, that doesn't sit well with Quinn, especially with the upcoming sardine migration, which requires the seals to swim ahead. If anyone falls behind, they'll become a shark's snack. To prevent this, Quinn invites his fellow seals to join a rebellion. Yes, he's a bit crazy. But there's one seal named Beth who sees Quinn as pretty tough and agrees to join, especially after being tempted by the promise of lots of sardines. And to top it off, Quinn and Beth approach Geraldo, who's all about bravery and laughing in the face of danger. Of course, he's up for it. The next day, Quinn gathers Beth and Geraldo to meet Claggart. They are about to receive some top-notch training from the elite fighter himself, Claggart, in the vast ocean. After going through some seriously intense training, Quinn and the gang face their ultimate test, battling a fake shark. First up is Geraldo, but he ends up getting battered. Then it's Beth's turn, and she impressively dodges the shark's attacks and even fights back. Finally, it's Quinn's turn, and he's super eager to take on the shark alongside Beth and Geraldo. And guess what? They conquer the beast. Later that night, Claggart is plagued by nightmares from his past. He can't sleep, so he goes to Quinn, who's once again contemplating his fears of fighting sharks. Quinn becomes curious about his teammate Claggart and asks about their other friends. That's when Claggart reveals that Dolph has ventured into show business, while Switch, the equipment expert, has gone a little crazy. Hearing this, Quinn expresses his desire to meet Switch, even though Claggart isn't too keen on the idea. But hey, there's nothing wrong with Quinn wanting to catch up with his pals, right? Beth and Geraldo are invited too, of course. Right in the middle of the road, they come across a basking shark named Dave. But Claggart and the gang have an important mission at the shipwreck, where Switch resides. Switch is overjoyed to see Claggart again. Claggart explains that he's here to seek Switch's help in fighting the sharks. Switch comes through with his brilliant biotechnology weapons. He showcases inventions like shell mines, pufferfish mines, electric eel guns, adorable watches, barazookas, shrimp guns, and octopus suits. With their new arsenal, Claggart and the team unite to face a real shark. But this shark is no pushover. Even though they manage to tie it up, it starts chasing the seals with a vengeance. Quinn and the gang use all their strength to hold the shark back. Then, out of the blue, Quinn has a brilliant idea. He suggests luring the shark into a cage carried by humans. The shark gets trapped when it's hit by a rock. However, two other sharks witness the incident and rush to tell Grimes what went down. Grimes gets furious that his prey is rebelling, so he retaliates by sending a remora fish to summon an army of sharks. Soon enough, the small island of seals is surrounded by these toothy foes. Meanwhile, Claggart and the gang are having a wild party to celebrate their victories, while Quinn is feeling down as he remembers Benji. Suddenly, three birds show up and spill the beans about what's happening on the small island. Without wasting a moment, Quinn invites them to join the crew, but Claggart tries to stop him, considering a crazy idea, just like the time he cut the wrong color cable, even though seals are colorblind. However, this time Claggart decides to support Quinn. They come up with a plan to take on the sharks, and Switch has a special formula that sharks love. They just need a ship to get there. Luckily, Geraldo knows how to get a ship. He suggests going to the port, but they encounter some local seals who put up a fight. It's during this confrontation that they call upon the extraordinary port queen, Jing. Meanwhile, the sharks receive a report from a remora fish about a missing seal. Despite this, Grimes orders his plan to proceed. Plot twist. It turns out that Jing is actually Geraldo's ex-girlfriend from their time in the aquarium, and she's pretty angry at him for leaving. It was Jing's plan all along to escape from the aquarium. Despite the tension, Quinn still wants to help Geraldo in the fight against the sharks. The next morning, Switch works his magic and disables the CCTV at the port, allowing them to grab the key to a speedboat. Quinn chooses a bold pink speedboat, while one of the officers spots scattered potatoes leading to their getaway vessel. Luckily, Quinn and the crew manage to escape, making their way to rescue the seals who are under attack by the sharks. Thankfully, the besieged seals make it back to the main island safely with Quinn's speedboat. However, on their way, one of the sharks and a remora fish approach Quinn. The shark seems unstoppable due to the ship hitting the reef, but there's a chance for Quinn to use the remora fish as a hostage. Unfortunately, two other sharks are watching closely. To divert their attention, Quinn creates replicas of his friends on board, creating a distraction. Geraldo and Jing have to stay behind, pretending to be suspicious sharks, even performing a little drama to convince them. In the meantime, Quinn and the others follow the remora fish, aiming to reach Grimes' location. But guess who they encounter on their journey? Dave is back. He starts sharing all sorts of stories, captivating Quinn and the gang's attention so much that they don't even notice the two lurking sharks. Simultaneously, Geraldo and Jing successfully divert the attention of the two sharks, allowing them to catch up with Quinn and the rest, who are still feeling a bit woozy from the effects of the shrimp rifle. Nevertheless, they manage to defeat the shark. Later on, Quinn and the gang attend a shark gathering, but they can only observe from a distance. To get closer, Quinn puts on the transparent mode of Switch's octopus suit. In disguise, he infiltrates the shark society where Grimes is plotting to harm the seals. When the sardine migration takes place and the seals showcase their incredible teamwork, Quinn is taken aback along with his remora fish sidekick, who scampers away. Quinn and the gang find themselves trapped by Grimes and his shark squad. But fear not, our brave leader Claggart steps up to the plate. He decides to distract the sharks and becomes their ultimate target, giving Quinn and the others a chance to skedaddle. It's a mix of sadness and relief for Quinn, like a roller coaster of emotions. Now Quinn knows he needs to get to the island of seals to warn his buddies about Grimes' wicked plans. When he arrives, the seals have already embarked on their exciting sardine migration. Talk about bad timing, but Quinn doesn't let that get him down. He hops back on Claggart's ship and rounds up the remaining SEAL team, ready for action. The birds bring news that the sharks aren't stirring up any trouble at the moment, so our clever SEALs put their heads together and come up with a daring plan. They decide to hitch a ride on Dave, the friendly basking shark, to launch a surprise attack on the nearby sharks. Talk about an underwater adventure. But when they spot a bunch of sharks hanging out on the ship's hull, Some serious jitters set in. Those sharp-toothed swimmers are no joke. Quinn's got an idea that's as bright as a neon sign. He spots a container right above the sharks and the wheels start turning. Genius strikes. He quickly assigns roles. Switch drops the container like a pro while the rest of the gang hustles to shut the door and keep those sharks locked in. However, Geraldo is having a bit of a struggle holding that door tight. Those sneaky sharks manage to wiggle free and now they're hot on the heels of Quinn and the gang. Hold on to your fins. Things just got a whole lot fishier. Lucky for them, they find a hiding spot inside the container just in the nick of time. Grimes, being the sneaky shark he is, locks the container from the outside and starts chasing after the seals who are on the hunt for sardines. Talk about an intense situation. But don't worry, Quinn's friends rally around him, giving him the boost of courage he needs. With newfound determination, Quinn manages to escape the container thanks to Geraldo opening it up. Now they join forces against the sharks. Right on cue, Claggart arrives on the good boys' ship with Dolph ready to shoot some shark trouble. The sharks get scared and flee in a hurry, giving the seals a much-needed break. Hooray! They are quickly evacuated onto the ship, safe and sound. In a close call, Grimes almost takes a bite out of Quinn, but his teeth get stuck in Quinn's necklace. Phew, that was a lucky break. Claggart and the other seals swiftly come to Quinn's rescue, holding him back from getting too interested in Grimes' snack attack. Quinn is left with no choice but to cut his precious necklace and take a plunge into the sea. As the film reaches its climactic end, the island of seals faces an attack from a shark. But surprise, surprise, one of the sharks warns them that the island is guarded by a team of badass seals. And that's a wrap, folks. The movie concludes with the seals triumphantly protecting their island from the shark threat. The moral of the story is that in the wacky underwater world, teamwork and friendship can conquer even the sharpest shark teeth.